Hi everybody, welcome back to Living Our American Dream. My name is Matt. If you don't follow this channel, this is a YouTube channel about just kind of what we do on our homestead and kind of how we live our life and the things that we do, and just kind of a channel to be able to go back and look someday in the future and just kind of enjoy some of the things that we do. This particular video, is going to be about this coronavirus thing that's going on and how it's affected our family and what we're doing to kind of living through this thing. So as you guys know, or may not know, this is our place is in mid-Michigan. There's, I don't know, a little over 100 cases of this thing. Today is March 19th, 2020, and as of recording this, there's a little over 100 cases of this in the state of Michigan. I think there's been one death. This video is not about what I think of the coronavirus pandemic and whether I think it's an overreaction by a lot of people, or whether I think it's very similar to other things that we've seen in my lifetime, and surely folks that are older than me. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about what has occurred and how we are reacting to it. So far, we have schools closed in the state of Michigan, walk-in restaurants closed. The governor shut that stuff down. A lot of companies are having people work from home, all in an effort to reduce exposure to each other. So this is what we're doing. Let me turn the camera around and walk you through a few things. So if you follow this channel, you guys know that this is my shop, my workshop. A lot of videos have taken place out here. As a matter of fact, there's some syrup going on the stove over there, maple syrup right now. I haven't done a video on this yet, but I purchased a used four-wheeler for Marcus and I to work on. But over here in my shop, this whole end over here, as you can see, has been, I don't want to say converted, but definitely being used as an office space. So I've got my PC set up. And it's 4 o'clock right now. It's the end of the workday for me. So, but I've got plenty of room here to lay out drawings. For those of you that don't know, I'm an engineer, and the projects that I work on frequently require tons of communication electronically and whatnot, but also drawing reviews and that kind of stuff. So I swiped as many things out of the office as I could. In that backpack, typically I'll have all of the electrical cords. It's a mini office in there. I can set this office up pretty much anywhere that has an internet connection. Speaking of an internet connection, over there you can see a couple of mobile devices, one of which gets plugged in and sat in that window right there. That's the best place for me to set up a hotspot, a mobile hotspot, so that I can get Wi-Fi in this building and use my phone and my computer. And it's pretty much allowing me to do most of my work, I would say all of my work, remotely. The advantage to that is obviously I'm home, so I can run in the house and have lunch during lunchtime. On my breaks, for example, today I rebuilt the starter on this four-wheeler. Took me, 20 minutes on one of my breaks. If you follow this channel, we make maple syrup, so you know that basically making maple syrup is like watching water boil. So it doesn't take a whole lot of effort, but stoking fire, wood in the fire, putting more sap in as needed. So this is our last batch, by the way, of the season. We pulled our taps yesterday. But also important to this coronavirus, with the schools closed down, it's extremely important. And I should say, so far they have called for our schools to be closed for about 3 weeks. Given the fact that the cases continue to go up and people continue to be crazy about this thing, I have my doubts as to whether we're going to go back to school at all this year. So, not knowing what that plan is going to be, I'd like to take a minute to show you guys some other things that we're doing. We have 3 kids, and it's important that they don't fall behind on their work. So in here, just spin around in the house here. So this is our, I want to say our temporary classroom. I don't know, temporary, permanent perhaps. So our internet access is also a mobile hotspot. As you can see, I just ran an extension cord up here with a couple of iPad chargers. What we did for the kids, nowadays everything is electronic. Michael's working on, looks like a little bit of geography here, creating a map, learning a little bit about, what is that, Mike? Africa. Megan's working on cursive writing. And Marcus, I'm not sure what he's working on, but what the school has been able to do, so he's reading an article on something. What the school's been able to do is post assignments remotely via Google Classroom, and we've furnished our kids over the years all with an iPad with the appropriate apps on there that they can access all of this stuff remotely. So all they need is an iPad and an internet connection, and they can pretty much keep up with whatever they would be doing in school. Now obviously they don't get the one-on-one instruction from their teachers, but I will say that their mother is not really letting them get away with a whole lot here, making them keep up with all their studies. So, and obviously between Monica and myself, we've been able to help them with whatever they've needed to learn and come across. But as we go through this, let me turn the camera back around here. As we go through this, it's going to be important. Like, we know with all of these things closed, there's going to be businesses that go out of business. There's going to be kids that have issues catching back up in school. There's going to be people that are going to lose their jobs because their company goes out of business over this pandemic. So it's important to do as much as you can and really think about what that means for you, whether it's finding another way to produce income, another way to keep up your household, trying to do this work remote thing. Another thing behind me, let me just walk over here for a minute. I don't really take a lot of videos inside of our house, but we're taking another opportunity in here to paint a room that we've been wanting to work on for a while.
This is why our house is a mess.
If you heard Monica, she said that's why the house is a mess. We kind of got stuff. It's surprising how much stuff you have. There's 5 little locker areas right here, and when you take all the stuff out of there, it kind of feels like the house is kind of threw up on itself. But for all intents and purposes, you know, everything's gonna go back in here real nice. But you know, take this opportunity maybe to do some of those home projects that you haven't had time to do or haven't taken the time to do. But also make sure you're not being lazy about keeping up with all of the things that keep your household running and really keep your kids going. This video is not about what I think about this pandemic, but what you should be doing or what you could be doing to make sure that your kids and your household continues to function as well as it can. So again, it's about 4 o'clock, so I think these guys are done for the day. The schedule is we get up at the normal time that they would for school. They have about an hour and a half to have breakfast and have a little bit of free time, and then they get right into schoolwork for about, I don't know, 2 hours in the morning, and then they get about 2 hours in the middle of the day to have lunch and have some free time, and then they go for about another 3 hours in the afternoon. And then by right about now is when school would let out anyway, so they're gonna wrap it up here and basically have free time the rest of the day. So it works out fairly well. You know, I put myself out in the shop. I'm looking out the window here. You can see my shop is out there, which pretty much isolates me from these guys, allows me to focus on, I end up on a lot of phone calls and whatnot. So anyway, that's the gist of this video. I wanted to share it with you guys. if you have comments on this, I would love to hear the things that other folks are doing. Now, I didn't talk about anything like stocking up on food or any of that kind of stuff, which we did a little bit of. We didn't go crazy, but we did get, I want to say, 2 to 3 weeks worth of the normal things that we would have, you know, just in case grocery stores ran out of things and whatnot. I don't think that's happening. I've been to the local grocery stores a couple times. They seem to still have, you know, a lot of things. But I'd love to hear comments from anybody that watches this video on how this pandemic has affected you guys and what you're doing about it and how you're doing as much as you can to keep your life moving as best as possible. So I appreciate you watching this video, and I promise to get back to doing some of my normal videos in the very near future. We'll see you on the next one.